Good afternoon, everyone. I have been gone for a week. To my surprise, when I got home last night, my tomatoes are really looking well. They came through the cold weather. Of course, I had them all covered up. Got them, my wife uncovered them on Tuesday afternoon, so they didn't get too hot afterwards. But let's take a look at what I got growing on. Lots and lots of new growth. Tomatoes are looking really, really good post pruning, post cold front. I even, if I can get in here and show you, even have, can you see them? Hiding right there, Cherokee carbon tomato coming. I saw a few cherry tomatoes coming up, but now what do I do with trellising? I have them all staked up for now because I did not have a string trellis in place. So that's what I'm going to be working on. That's what I'm going to be sharing in this video. My plan is to take this 4x4, stake it in the ground right here. At the top, I will put a cross piece 2x4, similar to what we did with the blackberry trellis. And in the same way, I'm going to run airplane cable between another 4x4 with a cross piece on the other end. Those airplane cables should go right down the center of each of my rows, and off of that, I can drop my string trellises down to my tomatoes and peppers. One thing I want to do on this trellis differently than I did on the blackberry trellis is I want to countersink my 2x4 cross piece. Now I know that I need to come 1.5 inches or so in this way, 3.5 inches this way. So I'm going to mark that using my speed square, and then I'm going to use my DeWalt skill saw to try to cut those out. Now, I've never done this before, but I did stay at a hold it. No, I did watch a YouTube video on how to do this. So y'all are going to watch me succeed or fail. But here we go. All right, a couple of things I did here. Well, first off, I went and got my safety glasses. We only get one set of eyes, y'all. So safety glasses. But I marked off the depth that Finley wants to have fun too. He likes to get on the camera, I guess. But I marked a line for the depth that I need to cut for my 2x4 to fit slotted in. I also cut in 1 inch on the top. So I'm going to make this kind of fit into an actual slot. And then I've got my bottom line also. This is measuring 3.5 inches. I set the depth of my blade to match the line that I have drawn on the 4x4. So in theory here, I'm going to cut numerous lines, and then I'll just chip out what I've cut out of here, and I will have the slot for my T across the top. Oops. Clean that out a little bit. The last little bit here. All right, let's see how this fits. Just got a little test piece, a scrap piece of 4x4. It's pretty tight, but I think that is exactly what I want. All right, I'll cut this piece to fit here in just a few minutes. Now I'm gonna go measure exactly where I want to put this 4x4 in the ground, and I'm gonna hammer in the stake for it. Probably gonna bury it just a little bit just to give it a little more sturdiness. I am on the side of the heel, so that is going to be something I'm going to have to try to figure out, is how do I get the 4x4s all level across the top. I did buy 4 10-foot 4x4s and 2 12-foot 4x4s, so obviously on the right side, on the upper side of the heel, I will have to bury the 10-footers a little bit deeper, and then I will just have to see about the 12-foot. Maybe I have to cut a little bit of it off. Maybe I have to bury it a little deeper as well, to make up for the 2-foot extra that it's long. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to learn together. Let's go drive a stake. Now, one thing I learned from the blackberry trellis, this got stuck. This is my sacrificial 4x4. I'm going to use this to put into my 4x4 stake. With the blackberry trellis, I couldn't get this out. So I finally pried it out. But what I did was I trimmed down the butt of my 4x4, and now I can get it out easy enough. So that was something I learned from the blackberry trellis. Mark that one down. With the blackberry trellis, I was only using 6-foot 4x4s. So it was pretty easy just to use the 4x4s and use my ladder and just use the trellis 4x4s as my uh, pallet for the sledgehammer. But with these 10-foot and even a 12-foot 4x4, don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So I trim this down. Now it comes in and out of the spike easier, and I will be able to drive this in with a sacrificial 4x4 and then raise my trellis 4x4s into place after I have it all level and ready to go. All right. I think I have this pretty level. Of course, when I put a 10-footer in here, it may make a bit of difference, but I now have this driven in 9 inches. I dug my hole out 9 inches. The base of the 4x4 spike is now at the 9-inch mark. So I'm going to drop my 10-footer in here and we'll get a measurement. Love to see the bumblebees visiting my garden already. So let me get that 10-footer. We'll drop it in place and see just how good I did. I like how that came out. Something else I almost forgot. I'd really rather have these eye bolts in place before I have this thing 9 foot in the air. So let me measure. Oops, I think I wanted to go 16 inches from center. There's one. There's two. Center that up. Right there. Oops, there it is. Center this one up. Somehow I managed to get that one centered. Don't know how I did that. Pure luck, but I'll take it. Drill a little starter hole. Probably come back with some black paint on this. All right. All right, now I don't have to try to do that from a ladder 9 foot off the ground. All right, let's go put her in place. All right, let's set this baby in place. Go. Might be a little off square, but I think I can fix that. There you go. Let's check level and hope for the, oh, that's so good. This is a little off, but I bet I can fix that. There we go. All right, so we've got this one in place. I'll backfill this now. You'll see now one of the reasons why I wanted to recess or countersink my 2x4 is because this is going to be on the outside. I want my trellis or my strings to be pulling against the 4x4 and not pulling it out of the wood, more pulling it into the wood. So that's why I was planning on doing that. Looks like it's going to work. I might have a little work to do here squaring this up, but it doesn't need much. So looking good. I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. All right, 2 days, a couple of honeydews, and a few thousand sneezes later, I finally have my string trellis all done. I've already started putting up the strings for the tomatoes. Let me kind of show you what I did. So you can see the post that I have now. What I showed y'all earlier, I just repeated that 5 more times, except on the ends, I did not need the cross piece up top, so I did not have to do that. But it's kind of hard to see, but I used black cable and I attached them with carabiners here. I'm putting all of my tomato hooks on here. On this end, I used those tensioners so that I could keep my line tight. And then these tomato hooks coming down, and I'm attaching them to the tomatoes. So real quick, I'll show you how these tomato hooks work. All right, y'all, I'm gonna try to sniff as little as I can, and hopefully I don't sneeze. But I wanted to show you these little tomato hooks that I'm using. They do have a roller. What you'll do is you'll pull these tight. Once your tomatoes, your indeterminate tomatoes, reach the top of the trellis, you can simply squeeze on this and then let the string down. Obviously, you'll want to do that slowly so that the tomato can just lean over,
but that will give you a little more room for it to grow up towards the top. Right here, this is what I'm clipping on to my airplane cable up at the top. And then I am just using the regular tomato clips like we all use to clip it to the string. I'm going to show you an example of one. I've got a couple left. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. All right, so I've already got my string measured to the bottom. One thing some of these I have staked, some of them I am not staking. I want to see which I like better. This one I'm not going to stake, so it doesn't quite go to the ground. No stake on the end of it. So for this one, I'm going to disconnect it from my garden stake here. And then what you'll do, I hope y'all can see this, but you'll take your clip it on the string, pull it good and tight. There we go. And then you'll go right below. I've been trying to go right below a limb or a tomato truss. That way it continues to hold the string tight. And there we have it. Now I can actually pull this garden stake up. And you'll see it does have some flexibility, but this string is now going to hold my tomato in place and hopefully protect it. It still has room to sway in the wind. Y'all, I'm sorry, my nose is running like a faucet. I've got lots, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but I've got lots of tomato truss on here already. And they are putting on tomatoes. So super excited about that. As hot as it's getting already, I think it's going to be important that we here in East Texas can get tomatoes as fast as we can. But this is how I'm using the string trellis method. I do have some more trellises ordered coming in as I am out, and it is obvious that I'm going to need quite a few more. All right, so there you have it. One last look around at the trellis system. Hoping this works. I will be getting my shade cloth on as soon as I can, probably even next weekend, which is Easter. That's how fast it's getting hot, y'all. It's 1 o'clock and my AccuRite read, this guy right here, read 87 degrees just now. So it is warm. It is getting hot in East Texas. It's time to get our shade cloth on. Summer is upon us already, and it's not even Easter yet. But this is how I built my string trellis. This is my plan to use for my shade cloth. I'm also going to string some lights across all of the trellises as well, just to give it a good look. I'll probably add some more of these posts around the garden over near the green stalks in order to light up our sitting area. Does anybody notice Finley got a haircut? Don't be camera shy now, Finn. Yeah, he got a haircut a couple weekends ago, so he's feeling a lot better in this heat too. But that's what I got growing on in the garden right now. I'm gonna keep on setting strings on these tomatoes. And I've already got a prune again. Hey everybody, thanks for watching.